The post went up at 9:07 a.m. I remember the time because I was sitting on the edge of my bed, surrounded by half-packed boxes, scrolling mindlessly while trying not to cry. The house was unusually quiet, too quiet for a place I'd lived in for almost 3 years. Then I saw it. My sister Nadia had posted a photo of our living room. My old couch was already gone, the corner where I used to sit empty and clean, like I'd never existed there at all. The caption read, "Finally, the freeloader is gone. Feels good to have my house back." Relieved face. Dozens of reactions followed, laughing emojis, clapping hands, comments like "about time," and "congrats, girl," from people who had no idea what the truth was. My hands started shaking. I hadn't even left the house yet. When I moved in with Nadia 3 years earlier, it wasn't part of some lazy plan to live off her. My life had collapsed almost overnight. I'd lost my job when the company downsized. 2 months later, my fiancé cheated on me with someone from his office. The wedding was canceled, the apartment lease was in his name, and suddenly I had nowhere to go. Nadia had insisted I come stay with her temporarily. "You're my sister," she'd said, hugging me tightly. "We'll figure it out." At first, things were fine. I paid what little rent I could from my savings. I cooked. I cleaned. I babysat her kids whenever she needed, often for free. When her husband worked late, I picked up the slack. When she wanted a weekend getaway, I stayed behind with the children. But as time went on, the tone shifted. Small comments started creeping in. "Must be nice, not having real responsibilities." "You're still job hunting, wow." "I wish I could just stay home all day like you." I was working freelancing, taking short-term contracts, applying endlessly, but none of that seemed to count. To Nadia, if I wasn't climbing some visible corporate ladder, I was doing nothing. The word freeloader first came out during a family dinner. She laughed when she said it, like it was a joke. Everyone else laughed too. I didn't. The final straw came 2 weeks before I moved out. Nadia confronted me in the kitchen, arms crossed, voice low but sharp. "You know, people are starting to talk," she said. "About what?" I asked. "About you living here so long, about how I'm carrying you." That hurt more than I expected. "I've paid rent," I said quietly. "Not always on time, but—" "And that's the problem," she snapped. "It's never on time. I'm tired of covering for you." I looked around the kitchen, the meals I'd cooked, the dishes I'd washed, the lunches I'd packed for her kids every morning. "I'll move out," I said. She shrugged, probably for the best. So I did. I found a tiny studio apartment on the edge of town, bare walls, no furniture except a mattress on the floor. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I told Nadia my move-out date. She smiled. And then came the Facebook post. By noon, my phone was buzzing nonstop. Messages from relatives, old friends, even coworkers I barely spoke to anymore. "Is everything okay? Why did your sister say that? Are you really freeloading off her?" I didn't respond. Instead, I finished packing. I left the keys on the counter. I didn't say goodbye. The next morning, I woke up in my new apartment to a knock on the door. It was my mom. She didn't even sit down before she started. "What is going on between you and your sister?" she asked. "Why would she humiliate you like that?" I handed her my phone. Not Nadia's post. My bank statements. Receipts. Screenshots of rent transfers, grocery bills, medical bills I'd covered when Nadia's youngest broke his arm, messages asking me to babysit just one more time, emails from freelance clients, rejection letters from full-time jobs. My mom's face slowly changed. "She told us you weren't paying," she said softly. "I was," I replied, "just not enough to fit her narrative." That same afternoon, my aunt came by, then my cousin, then my dad. Each time I told the truth, calmly, clearly, without embellishment. By evening, the family group chat was on fire. Meanwhile, Nadia was enjoying her victory. She posted another update that night. Peace at last, no more dead weight. That's when I decided I was done staying quiet. I didn't post an angry rant. I didn't name call. I simply wrote this. For anyone confused, I moved out voluntarily after paying rent, covering groceries, and providing free childcare for 3 years. I stayed silent out of respect, but I won't accept being publicly humiliated. I wish my sister well. I'm focusing on rebuilding my life. I attached screenshots. Nothing personal, just facts. I posted it. Then I turned off my phone. When I turned it back on the next morning, I had over 200 notifications. People were apologizing, friends were furious at Nadia, family members were demanding explanations. And Nadia, she was calling me nonstop. I ignored her. By noon, her original post was gone, so was her follow-up. By evening, she finally showed up at my door. She looked different, smaller, panicked. "You embarrassed me," she said, the moment I opened the door. I laughed, I couldn't help it. "I embarrassed you. You made me look like a liar." "You did that yourself," I replied. She tried to cry then, said she was stressed, that she didn't mean it, that it was just a joke that got out of hand. "A joke," I said, "to call me a freeloader in front of hundreds of people." She went quiet. Then she said something I'll never forget. "I just didn't like that you were getting comfortable. That was it. Not money. Not rent. Comfort." She didn't like that I wasn't suffering loudly enough. I didn't yell. I didn't slam the door. I simply said, "You don't get to hurt me for sport anymore." And I closed it. A month later, I landed a full-time job, nothing glamorous but stable. I bought a second-hand couch, hung up curtains, started sleeping through the night again. Nadia tried to reconnect, sent messages pretending nothing happened. I kept my distance. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Last week, I saw her post again on Facebook. This time it read, "Sometimes family doesn't appreciate you." I smiled, because this time, everyone knew who she really was. And more importantly, so did I.